Where President Biden has arrived at Arlington Cemetery and he has a huge job ahead of him. You can see him there with former presidents and first ladies. But the job ahead of him, let's just talk about that, reunifying America. He needs to flatten the curve on the coronavirus, and he's indicated he'll roll back former President Trump's most controversial policies and executive orders.
That's just to name a few. Joining us for more on this massive task ahead is President Trump's former White House press secretary, Sean Spicer. Sean, good to have your company on the show today. It was a big morning, a very different ceremony than what we've seen in the past. What did you make of it all?
You're right, Karl. I was actually just looking at some of the pictures that I had from 2017 and posting on Instagram some memories that I had, because it is a very different day in so many different ways in terms of COVID and the issues and the mood of our country at this time. But it's also a reminder that regardless of all of those situations, we still can transfer power in a very peaceful way and be a beacon of democracy around the world.
Let's just look, let's just focus for now on the new president, because it is his day, Joe Biden's day. It is a huge job he has ahead of him. Your country is very divided. You're facing this pandemic. Do you think he can do it?
Let me start with this. First and foremost, I'm an American, and I want our president and our country to succeed. So I pray and hope that he is successful, because we should all as Americans come together and want our fellow citizens to do better, want our country to move forward. So I do hope that he is successful, because we need this. We need to overcome this virus. We need Americans to go back to work. We need our children to return to the classroom. So I hope he can. And I hope, to the extent that he's willing to live up to the words that he put out in that inaugural address and reach out, that we will reach a hand back and try to work with him for the sake of the country. And then, you know, we've got another election in a few years, and we can settle our differences again at the ballot box.
Look, the very things that he's going to enact via executive orders, and we were saying before that this is not exactly a unifying and a unified approach with both houses. Executive orders.
Well, I was trying to be nice on his day, but I understand. I think that you're right. You're right.
But your man showed the way anyway with executive orders. So do as one does. But the very things that he's going to enact, Sean, are probably going to come across as divisive for those who did vote for Donald Trump.
100%. I agree with you. And in fact, I've been talking about this for a few days. You know, he has every right to pursue the policies and personnel that he chooses to, but he continues to bring up this word unity. And part of unity doesn't just mean I'm going to say the word unity over and over again. It means actually trying to do things. And if your first day and your first week are filled with just actions to undo and repudiate the last administration, I don't think that that's the foundation of an administration that is going to achieve unity. So the immigration stuff that he's talking about right now, granting citizenship to 12 million people, is not something that is going to attract bipartisanship and unity.
I'd be really keen to know what you think President Trump's legacy will be, Sean, because he did have some major achievements during his 4 years in power. But I think a lot of that has been overshadowed by what we've seen since the November election, where he didn't accept the result. He's incited violence. Do you think that has completely overshadowed anything else he did in the past 4 years? How will he be remembered in your mind?
Yeah, I think that's it's a fascinating question that you're asking, because two things. One is, I think that the nearness of it, as you point out, is going to make it difficult, because there's a lot of supporters of him that the last month or two have sort of clouded some of the achievements and the policies. But secondly, I think that, you know, the country's so divided that those who love him are going to look at the achievements that he made, whether it's domestically in tax cuts and regulation and judicial appointments, or foreign policy with Middle East peace, and say, wow, he did a real lot of things that I can appreciate. I think those folks on the left are going to continue to dislike him. But history is going to be interesting depending on who writes it and how far away from this administration we get.
Sean, there are huge dramas just within his party. I mean, the establishment, the old guard of the Republican Party, now will decide whether or not they're going to go ahead with impeaching him. I mean, do you think he'll get impeached?
Well, he was impeached. The question is, will he get convicted?
That's right, yeah.
And look, I think, look, I'm no lawyer, but the Constitution of our country says shall be removed if you're convicted of impeachment. I don't see how anyone can in their right mind say somebody who's no longer in office can be removed from office that they don't hold anymore. So I think he has been impeached by the House. He has left office. I don't know why the Senate's going to pursue something when the only remedy is to remove a person from office that's no longer in office.
And do you think he'll be back?
Well, he said so this morning that in some way, shape, and form he will be. I think that there's no question he plays this outside role in the Republican Party. And the question is, what role is that? Is that a kingmaker in primaries going forward, or is it as a candidate himself again in 2024? I would have to guess that it's more of the kingmaker than the candidate.
Well, he's lost his platform. He's banned from social media. It's going to be interesting to see how quickly he loses relevancy.
That's very true.
All right, Sean.
That's very, very true.
Thank you for joining us this morning. It's been a big day so far in the United States. We know you're busy. Appreciate it.
And whatever happens, you
Absolutely.
can imagine
Good to
that
see you
Sean
again.
Spicer will be
Take
front
care.
and centre of whatever he does.